coming, I actually had to take a moment and think about who Phil Everly was. And when I began to search and look through Twitter, it was amazing the impact that this duo had, this rock classic duo, country act of the 1950s and the 1960s, and so much reaction about the influence that these guys had on music that I love today and music that we all know, and anything from the Beatles to the Supremes, talking about the influence that they had in changing the way people sing songs and the way they deliver music and perform. We had heard the news on the Los Angeles Times website talking about that he had died of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and his wife Patti had told the Times for the story's paper website. Now, the Everly Brothers included several hits, as you heard, as you mentioned earlier: Wake Up Little Susie, Bye Bye Love, and All I Have to Do Is Dream. And I thought, just to remind people a little bit, we'll play a little bit of All I Have to Do Is Dream.
Dream, 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 dream. Dream, dream, dream when I...
Well, it is an interesting generational thing, Mi Young, as it often is when we talk about music. Certainly, I remember the Everly Brothers. They were hit makers kind of before I started buying music, but then in the 70s when I was listening to a lot of radio, Simon and Garfunkel, for example, talked about the influence of their harmonies on that duo. Hall & Oates talked about their influence. So not only were they people who were very popular in their time, but they have so much respect from so many other artists who came after them, Mi Young.
And Rolling Stone actually had a very interesting quote about them when they put out their top list of the 100 greatest artists of all time, and they wrote, perhaps even more powerfully than Elvis Presley, the Everly Brothers melded country with the emerging sounds of fitness, rock and roll. And the Everly Brothers on that list of greatest 100 actually were ranked number 33 on the Rolling Stones magazine list. And I wanted to turn to a couple tweets that we saw on Twitter emerging tonight as well. Todd tweeted this out tonight. He said, any group, whether they're the Beatles, the Beach Boys, or the Supremes, owes the Everly Brothers a big thank you. And Michelle Branch, who is a famous young artist, also wrote this out, sent this Twitter out today, said, rip to one of my musical heroes, Phil Everly. I will forever cherish the moment we sang together. And if you go to her Twitter page, you'll see pictures of her and Phil Everly together, and as well social media online talking about people remembering their favorite moments. There's a great tweet from a woman who says she remembers watching a concert and how that every woman in the audience would scream the minute they would sing, and then they would stop talking and it would be pure silence because they would just listen to every word.
Well, as we remember Phil Everly tonight, I strongly recommend that people, if they don't have the music at home, YouTube some of these songs like Wake Up Little Susie and listen to it tonight. Thanks, Mi Young.